Wait. Setting it up. One sec. Almost done. Just keep my coffee here ready. All right, we're good. Yeah, we're live. I'm here. Oh, wait. There you go. How you guys doing? You guys doing good? Fix my audio because it's really low. I can't hear myself. Okay, I can hear myself now. We're good. Oh, this is way too loud. Oh no. Let's go from right here. Alright. Mic. Put on both my mics so I can hear. What's the long-term plan for reading? Are you finishing the book or are you stopping at specific chapter volumes? Micro, the one thing I've done, every time I finish a volume, I take like a week off. That's pretty much the only thing. Sequence 5. I'm hoping, I'm praying. I'm praising to whatever fool we can, man. I'm hoping we hit 5 this stream. But usually my plan, I do plan on finishing it. The only thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna start COI right away. But the one thing for sure is I do plan to read this to its entirety. I think we have like 800 chapters left. And then what else? Every time, the 2 times I finish the volume, I take 1 week off. But that's pretty much been it. Yeah, you just take a week off in between, or like whenever something comes up. But yeah, I've been reading it pretty good so far. At least I hope. At least that's how I've been seeing it. That we've been doing pretty good. But for now, we're gonna keep reading. Are you guys ready for another beautiful day of Lord of the Mysteries? We are at chapter 663. Oh yeah, of course. We're gonna do all that, Walter. Yeah, we're also gonna be reacting to Dungho when it comes out. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna approach it, but we are gonna figure it out. We are gonna react to it. So if you guys are excited for that and you like what you are going to see for this stream and the Dungho release, make sure you like, comment, sub, and then we're just gonna jump right into it. Okay. My advice is to take some time off after finishing all of them. It could be too much. Direct start a new book. Yeah, I think that's the one thing. The one thing. Oh, you guys are having a Discord watch party. The one thing I know I've done for sure No, I haven't done. The one thing I am probably going to do for sure when we finish Lord of Mysteries, like before even starting COI, I might read other things or watch other things, right? Like in between, just to kind of like branch out. Like for example, I might read like another one people talked about is like MOI, Mother of something. There's a lot of other shorter series that people have recommended to read. So yeah, we can watch Episode 1 6 times. Wait for the English up. Yeah, dude, we're gonna watch them in like every single language possible, dude. Then we're just gonna compare and contrast them. Oral is also nice. Yeah, and the thing is for Omniscient Reader Repoint, I think what I'm going to do is either read the manhwa or wait for the anime. We said short, so not shot. Yeah. Well, and then Shadow Slave, I like my plan is to still at least read that weekly, but I don't know, man. It's just like because I don't do YouTube full time. I can't spread myself too thin, but I also can't just do one thing, you know? But what I do like doing right now is Lord of Mysteries. I've been loving this. But we'll see. Oroviman was not finished. But so far it's really good. Yeah, I know it's also not finished. But I know they also announced an anime, so maybe that. I'm not sure. Like, I definitely can't read too long or semi-long series, semi-long light novels, web novels. Just because, you know, time. But I mean, we'll see. I am optimistic. I am optimistic about the future. Are you guys ready? What about COI? I do plan to start COI. Maybe not right away, right? Like, say, for example, we finish Lord of Mysteries. Instead of a week, I might take, like, a month off before starting COI. Well, not a month off from YouTube. But, like, during that month, I'll probably do, like, other reacts. Maybe I'll read... maybe I'll watch... I don't know, maybe do more anime reacts or other, like, light novel reacts. Like, I'm pretty sure in that month, I can, like, speed read, like, all of, like, a specific series or whatever, right? Like for example, when I read, Tokyo Ghoul, when I reread that, I read that whole thing in, like, one day, dude. Just because there's less text on screen. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't know, we'll see. I think it'd be cool, though, if we do, like, other things in between. But are you guys ready, though? Chapter 663. After probably like one of the most badass fights in all of Lord of the Mysteries, we're gonna continue. And I'm not saying all the other ones aren't as badass. It's just this was like a whole other tier in it of itself because of how strong they were in this fight. But chapter 663 is called False Alarm. Oh, before I forget, I did not do a fucking timestamp. Ooh, I almost fucked up. I almost messed that one up, guys. After hearing Anderson's question, Klang was momentarily at a loss for an answer. He couldn't just tell him that he had fallen out of a dream suspected to belong to Queen Mystic. He coldly looked at the unlucky strong hunter, raised his right hand and pointed upwards. Is that so? Anderson nodded in enlightenment. What did you figure out? I don't even know what I'm expressing myself. Klein discreetly twitched the corners of his lips and changed the topic. He said in recollection, I met someone just now, not someone we know, not a member of the future, the person who came out of that door from deep inside the hall. Anderson suddenly became excited. This fellow doesn't put on airs of being the strongest hunter. He's like a breaking news reporter? Klein lampooned without answering him. He directly said, she got me to pass on a prophecy to you. She? What prophecy? Anderson, somewhat puzzled. If I were using my identity as Klein Meridia, I would have answered, sorry, I forgot, and she only said it once. As Klein imagined the prank that wouldn't have happened, he said with a deep voice, the most lethal danger often lies in day-to-day life. Anderson listened carefully as he drew his gasp. That's just too accurate. I was drinking beer and nearly made myself a... I cannot say that word. He made himself blank. Who would imagine that most of the alcohol of the future is problematic? He ruminated for a few seconds and asked, somewhat worried, that's it. Did you forget any details or keywords? I can tell that you're being provocative. Klein ignored Anderson's hood and walked the entrance of the hall and the murals where he looked at Frank and Nina outside. Back in the library, he had been suddenly accused of being hero-banded Black Emperor by Queen Mystic. This inevitably caused him to be placed in a passive state. Afterwards, he attempted to throw her off and not be led by the nose. Therefore, he remained extremely nervous. His thoughts were completely focused on what he should say in response. Without the time to consider the entire process and to figure out the details, now he finally made the time. First, what's the most important to understanding question? To what level of comprehension does Queen Mystic have towards my identity as Roselle's diary? Yes, she believed that I grasped the means to interpret the language created by Emperor Roselle and not the language itself. Although the difference in means isn't great, it's enough to prove that our identity as transmigrators isn't something she can figure out or has any clues that point towards that conclusion. Okay, so she never figured out, if she is Bernadette, she never figured out that Roselle or him transmigrated. Got it. Miss Sharon isn't a rookie who just joined the mysticism circles or got herself involved in complicated manners. While getting someone to fake an identity for me, it's impossible for her to divulge what she's doing it for. Besides, the picture I provided was already German Sparrow's image. That means that Queen Mystic hasn't equated Sherlock Moriarty to German Sparrow. Yes, even if she has already known about this, and as I had previously imagined, a better form of address would be Mr. Black Emperor Sherlock Moriarty. This would have dealt my mental defenses a blow that was several times stronger than directly addressing me as Hero Bandit Black Emperor. From her standpoint, how did she gather useful information from scattered clues? She knows that the bookmark is the Black Emperor card, hence the spectator-like Hero Bandit Emperor and the strange spirit body who stole the card of blasphemy from the Royal Museum were connected together. Later, the King of the Five Seas Nast suddenly appeared in the Roasted Archipelago. According to the law beyond her characteristics of convergence, she guessed that Hero Bandit Black Emperor might have appeared in Bayam and Archipelago. Right, that's what you guys were talking about yesterday because Nast went. After her investigation, she discovered that the familiar identity known as German Sparrow, then from her identical trajectory with Hero Bandit Black Emperor's action, she made a prediction and engaged in pursuit. She infiltrated the future and observed me up close. This is logical, but there's a certain level of coincidences in all of this. King of the Five Seas Nast appears anywhere he likes. Perhaps he might be missing a particular lady from the Red Theater and got his ship to cross the spirit world to enter the waters around the Roasted Archipelago. Imagine. Or perhaps the Bayam happens to have high sequence beyonders ingredients of the Black Emperor pathway that attracted him. There's no way to directly link Hero Bandit Black Emperor. Of course, it's incomprehensible for Queen Mystic to make such a connection. Perhaps she abides by the principle of being wrong rather than feel sorry in regards to important clues. That's a good habit, but it's just tiring. There's also a high chance that she didn't lock onto German Sparrow immediately. However, with the reputation of the crazy adventurer, German Sparrow becoming more prominent in the Roasted Archipelago waters in the city of Generosity Bayam, she matched the timing after hearing the name, and then she came to a preliminary conclusion. Sigh, it's still better than keeping a low profile in life. Thankfully, my acting has finally come to an end. Subsequently, I can make the identity of German Sparrow vanish. Klein? No. I like German Sparrow. I'm sorry it's 3 in the morning for your thunder. I didn't realize how late it was for you guys. For me, it's still really early. Becoming more prominent in the Roasted Archipelago waters in the city of Generosity Bayam, she matched the timing after hearing the name, and then she came to a preliminary conclusion. Sigh, it's still better to keep a low profile in life. Thankfully, my acting has finally come to an end. Subsequently, I can make my identity of German Sparrow vanish. Klein ran through everything and felt that he had mostly understood the problem at its roots. However, he had another thought and guess. If the Admiral Star's cat Leah had received German Sparrow on her ship, she had done in an ostentatious manner as though she was afraid that it wasn't known to the world that the crazy adventurer was cooperating with her. Perhaps she was providing a certain level of clues. Later, Queen Mystic came and learned that it was German Sparrow. After figuring out the trajectory of my activity at sea, she had a certain speculation. Instead of trying to pull a bluff, she was actually a rather certain. Klein held one hand in his pocket as he walked out of the Hall of Murals. He then headed straight for Katlia, who was outside of the Black Cloister. He planned on using her turbid state to question her. At this point, he had actually relaxed significantly. That was because Queen Mystic clearly only knew that German Sparrow was equivalent to Hero Bandit Black Emperor, and he was a Beyonder who worked for some important figure. It didn't involve even more secrets. Even if she had connected the loss of the Black Emperor card on the night to Detective Sherlock Moriarty, who was nearby, that wouldn't be a huge problem. For a very long time, I had already equated the Sherlock Moriarty to the world, and I also equated that to the Bless of the Fool. German Sparrow is only an extension of that identity. This is my preparation for such matters. I always believe that I shouldn't treat others as blanks. As long as someone is active, any clues on their trajectories and social connections would lead to exposure. Therefore, I prepare this identity ahead of time for these smart people. I also strictly abided by these settings even in my everyday life. As for the blessed of an important figure to have a basic understanding of Rousseau's diary is completely understandable and acceptable. It's within the realms of ordinary bestowment for a special existence. You probably never expected that there's a mask under... There's a mask under the mask. Amidst his thoughts, Klein also felt the help from the gray fog, and his caution had played a significant role. If he hadn't noticed that he had been observed by someone ahead of time while instinctively abiding by his will, he might have summoned the messenger under Queen Mystic surveillance. The messenger alone might not expose anything, but it's worrisome that Queen Mystic might have a way of tracking and finding Mr. Zik. From his recent sightings, it's possible for her to dig out my identity as Klein Moretti. Klein tore through a square filled with numerous giant arrows, walked out of the black cloister, and saw Katlia sitting there. She hugged her knees just like before. She was staring at this beautiful sunset. Klein leaped onto the boulder and came to the side of the withered trees. He looked at the magnificent buildings on the opposite mountain and said in a seemingly normal manner, Nas is the location. I thought it said Nast, my bad. At Nas, she showcased the star bridge to connect the dock to the ship. Were there any hidden motives behind that? Katlia's head leaned to the side a little as she said, I'm not telling you. Klein was momentarily left at a loss. He originally imagined that Admiral Stars would be very honest in a dream world. He never expected such a situation, of course. This was also a form of honesty, but it was also an honest personality. After 2 seconds of silence, Klein decided to pull a bluff. You wish to use this method to inform someone that I'm worthy of attention. Katlia exhaled and remained seating there, hugging her knees. Pretty much. It was mainly to tell others if something serious happens or if I show obvious abnormalities, you will be the first clue. As expected, Klein sighed inwardly. He knew that Admiral Stars had done such a cheap trick to protect herself, but as a fool, he needed to punish her for such actions. However, I can't use this matter to act up. It will appear as though the fool protects his blessed too much. That will be quite lacking in standing. Yes, Admiral Stars must have done more than this. I can tabulate these series of actions as one punish for them. Klein quickly made up his mind. He wasn't as flustered towards what he encountered in the dream world again. As for Queen Mystic's suggestion, he didn't even consider it. Emperor Rizzo's diary contained matters of his transmigration on Earth. If he taught Queen Mystic how to read Chinese, she would discover this point and make even more critical guesses. She must have had qualms about the important figure who came randomly lent out the Sea God Scepter, so she wouldn't take any forceful actions. If there really are any matters that need her help, or if she has some dirt on me, I can agree to help her translate a few important pages of the diary she wishes to know, but I'll definitely not teach her Chinese. Yes, even if I translate it, it will be watered down with the use of synonyms. I just need to maintain the main point. That way, she has no way to reverse engineer the language. Klein retracted his gaze and casually asked, Katlia, rumor has it that you and Queen Mystic had a falling out, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Katlia glazed expression suddenly had a lively change. She pursed her lips and said, What right do I have to fall out with her? I was just banished. Why was she banished? Banished. Klein was just about to ask when blinding sunlight beamed as he naturally woke. And the dream's over. As he naturally woke up, looking at the bright sky outside, he wiped his forehead and muttered silently to himself, what a terrifying dream. After dealing with his wistfulness, Klein rolled out of the bed and came to the deck. He continued his observation and awaited the appearance of the mermaids. Nearly an hour later, he finally heard... here we go. He finally heard a faint, indistinct voice coming from the distance. We found them. We literally found the mermaids. All right, timestamps. Every second counts. Yes, sir. All right, timestamp. 11 minutes, 09 seconds. Copy, paste. Hope you guys are having a good day, by the way. And I do apologize that I didn't plan this ahead of time. I am sorry for that. I'm just drinking some coffee. Just imagine having insomnia while sailing that. Like, where the fuck do I go? I feel like we might not get any more mystery prior. Maybe we could get a mystery prior one. And then we see a little bit of Klein and Old Neil's fight. When they were in the black market, right? Maybe. Or in the underground market. Maybe. What about Sleepless? We got a Sleepless one. We got Sleepless, Assassin, and Seer. Oh. And Corpse Collector. Yeah, no, those are the 4 we've gotten. If we do get one, I can see. No, while sailing. I think sleep. I don't know. Who knows how that'll work out? Sleepless while you're out at sea. Pretty sure they can just dream just fine. They just don't need to. Well, they say they at least need 4 hours, right? Well, let's see. Let's find out. Let me update this. Yeah, today I'm gonna just take it very chill. I'm gonna try to not push myself. Chapter 664 is called Every Second Counts. Mermaids. Klein felt delighted as anticipation and excitement filled him. Having left Backland for nearly 4 months, he's been gone for 4 months? Having left Backland for nearly 4 months and experiencing a series of events, he finally arrived at the destination of his travels. He was completing the last condition needed for him to advance to Sequence 5 Marionettist. His irascibility and frustrations had been constantly growing ever since he entered these waters, and it was all thanks to the waiting. The various ridiculous and humorous matters on the future, the matters that seemed abnormally harrowing on careful thought, and the danger of the unknown things contained within the night, noon, and dreams in the running and the ruins of this war and gods had left him even more mentally tense. He had lived through every minute and hour with great torment. Now the pressure for these emotions finally had a chance of being released. Phew. Klein slowly heaved a sigh of relief. He directly returned to the cabin and entered the room that belonged to him. Without being flustered or letting the joy get to his head, he followed the planned sequence of taking out a Zix copper whistle of Will Ossipton's paper crane to interfere with a possible spying of Queen Mystic. After taking out the remnant spirituality of ancient wraiths, the pair of eyes from a 6-winged gargoyle, Drago bark, and a metallic bottle contained Sonia Island's golden spring from his suitcase. He spread them across the desk, entered the bathroom, and locked the door. He then firmly set up the bestowment ritual. After setting up the ritual, he wasn't in a rush to go above the gray fog to respond to the prayer. Instead, he set up another ritual of summoning himself. 2 rituals? While taking 4 steps counterclockwise and chanting the incantation, Klein arrived above the gray fog. He responded to the summoning ritual and used his spirit body state to come to the real world. He then brought Tinder back to the mysterious space. After doing all this, Klein didn't relax. He came to the seat of the fool, conjured a pen and paper, and quickly wrote the divination statement. The singing ahead comes for the mermaids. Take off the topaz pendant. He used divination to confirm the situation. The singing ahead of the future was from mermaids. After calming his emotions, Klein summoned the iron cigar case from his junk pile and made it land on the ancient mottled bronze table. With a snapping sound, he opened the lid and saw the pupilless all-black eye sitting there in silence. He could sense the extreme madness and danger from it, but appeared to be in deep slumber. After observing it for 2 seconds, Klein took out Tinder and slowly wore it on his right hand. After completing all this, Klein didn't hesitate, reached out his right palm and spread his fingers. All sorts of blobs of light surfaced before his eyes. Grayish-white, bronze-green, dark red, and black colors formed from the foundations of the mysterious space. And inside the all-black eye, there was a flaring iron-black beam lingering around the remaining colors. Oh, shit. Without using his spiritual intuition, Klein knew with certainty through his understanding of object of the true creator's mental corruption was represented by the iron-black light. Feeling extremely wary, he closed his fingers and grabbed at the target before turning his wrist. The iron-black cigar was instantly extracted as it fused with Tinder. Alright, here we go. This is how we take it out. I mean, not take out the charm, but like take out the mental corruption. Immediately, the illusionary evil, terrifying, and indescribable ravings boomed in his ear like deja vu. This destroyed his line of sight as it ground at his psyche. It brought about a fracturing pain to his brain, but it was soon repressed by the Grey Fox powers and turned completely silent. Okay. Klein didn't think further. He followed his plans and reenacted the trials runs that he had practiced numerous times by grabbing Tinder with his left hand, pulled it off, and threw it onto the stone ground of the magnificent palace. Right on his heels of that, Klein grabbed the all-black eye, which was now completely fine. He quickly replied to the bestowment ritual and passed it to the Marionettist beyond her characteristic through the illusionary door and into the altar in the bathroom. So now he's throwing it into the real world from the gray fog after doing that. He didn't dare delay any. Oh, no, that's how the chapter's called. Like, what was it? Every second counts, right? Every second counts. He didn't dare to delay any further. All he did was glance at the evil-shooting Tinder, which was tainted with an iron-black color. As its fingers twisted, as its palms cracked open, he then used his spirituality to envelop himself as he simultaneously as he simulated a plummeting sensation to return to the real world. Klein opened his eyes, grabbed the all-black guy on the altar, and ran into his room. While doing so, he had a thought. If I allow Creeping Hunger to watch what happens to Tinder as it comes outside, I wonder what its thoughts would be. Coming back before the desk from the side, Klein took out an iron pot that originally belonged to the future. He then poured 80 milliliters of Sonia Golden Spring into it. As the pale gold liquid slowly spread out in a clear and transparent state, it made him subconsciously feel thirsty. If he wished to drink a cup and it's quenched his thirst, here we go. He's about to make the potion. The items, Drago Bark, Eyes of the Six-Winged Eye Gargoyle, and the remnant spirituality of an ancient wraith were thrown into the pot by Klein, causing the different reactions. Finally, the potion turned into a pale gold color, but it looked ethereal as though it was weightless. At this critical juncture, Klein became abnormally calm. Instead, he steadily picked up the pupilless black eye and dropped it into the potion. He had already confirmed that the true creator's mental corruption hadn't penetrated the gray fog or returned inside the all-black eye. Okay. And this was something he had expected. The all-black eye was instantly submerged by the pale gold liquid as the surface began bubbling. Every bursting bubble made the potion turn blacker, and then 10 seconds later, all the changes came to a halt. Inside the pot, the potion took form as a completely black liquid. Inside, it seemed to contain countless tiny worms that were squirming about, worms that couldn't be seen by the naked eye. Klein took out a gold coin and made a quick divination as a confirmation. After receiving the revelation that it was a success, he heaved a sigh of relief and poured the Marionettist potion into the metallic bottle he had prepared and stuffed it into his pocket. He didn't act in a fluster or rush. He followed the process he had planned by quickly cleaning up the altar in the bathroom. He then returned his copper whistle and Will Austin's paper crane. At this point, he walked out of the cabin onto the deck. At this moment, the symbols of the magical labels on the future had once again lit up. They light up? Once again lit up, forming a resplendent sea of stars. It significantly reduced the mermaid singing. Rumors claim that the singing of the mermaids could make humans lose their reasoning and turn irrational. That was true. That was mentioned. They would then, which is kind of scary. There's a chance of losing control when you hear them, but now you have to drink the potion when you hear them, and then this is like one step before demigod. This is just so dangerous. Would you drink it? Hell, I would not drink this. This is too dangerous, bro. They would then jump off the ships to become food for the mermaids. Nah, this is just too scary. I would never, man. I'm telling you, I would just live in Tinkin. Klein subconsciously nodded at the window corresponding to the captain's cabin. Admiral Stars was standing there as her body swirled with starlight. The gaze she sent back at him appeared mixed. Have you recalled what you said and how you will act in that dream? Klein lampooned, and he said with a calm expression, I need a dinghy. It has already been prepared. Cattleya pointed towards the ship without any signs of surprise. German Sparrow had mentioned that his purpose was to seek out mermaids back when he hired the future. Soon Klein left the future in the protection of the resplendent sea of stars. He headed into the ocean on his tiny dinghy. It's like a tiny boat, right? Right? It's like a small boat. As a sinking, it's like their canoe. Like he headed on the ocean on his tiny dinghy, right? As the singing grew louder, a voice seemed to draw into his spirit body, numbing his body, making him wish to hear more of it. This was far from sufficient from Klein. Besides, his spiritual intuition told him that he needed to be closer to make the singing clearer, so as to satisfy the requirements of the ritual. Storm. Klein took out a charm made of thin as he summoned a controllable gale that he could push the dinghy ahead. Oh, he's getting a little boost. After an unknown period of time, the mermaid singing increased in volume. They were so clear that it was as though they were singing softly by Klein's ears. Each tone stirred his spirit body, and the melody was intoxicating. Klein felt his mind adrift, and he nearly jumped into the sea and swam towards the source of the melodic singing. He tried his best to control himself and discovered many reefs ahead. Figures were seated at the edge as they sang. These creatures with a human head had quite some beauty in their clear, pure eyes. Their breasts were lifted up high, but they were also covered by dark red scales. The lower halves of their bodies were composed of massive fishtails, and they rhythmically struck the reef. Their mermaids looked different and had different colored scales. From a human standpoint, they were all different kinds of beauty. Klein relinquished his control of dinghy, raised his right hand and reached into his pocket for the potion. Here we go. Now this sounds like the mermaid sinking. Do you guys hear that track? City of Tears. At that moment, the mermaid sensed his approach and looked over. Oh, here we go. Then these... I know what song to play. Wait, hold up. Baldur's Gate 3 literally has a song where you literally hear the mermaids sing. Well, I mean, they're harpies, right? Here we go. This song is going to fit. This song plays when you run into like harpies, mermaids, pretty much. Evil mermaids. It's like evil mermaids are singing. Hey, hold up. Wait, guys. There actually aren't any mods today. So let's just please be careful. Just please be careful, guys. I love you all, please. There are no mods today. I'm trusting you guys. You guys trust me, right? I'm trusting you guys, okay? We'll be careful. Then the creatures who are also known as sirens. Literally, this song is gonna fit perfectly. Harpy song? Yeah, harpy song is gonna fit perfect for this moment. Who are also known as sirens stopped singing out of shock. All of them leaped into the water with a splash. Don't go. Klein feebly reached out with his right hand. Isn't it said that you use your singing to attract humans for food? Why are you running with a human here? I'm not a bad guy. I'm only here to listen to your singing. At this moment, Klein's heart was filled with what the fuck emotions? That sounds justified. Like, what the fuck? He soon discovered that the mermaid singing didn't completely stop. Further away on the reef were a few mermaids with their backs facing him. They didn't discover the fleeing of their companions due to the crashing of the winds as they continued boldly singing. Klein's mind stirred as though he thought for a moment and took out a charm. This was the charm of the sea god domain that gave the use of affinity with underwater creatures. Storm. Oh, it's getting good. Amidst the incantation, blue flames enveloped the tiny plate, making it vanish from the world. Although the remaining mermaids noticed him, they didn't flee in fear. Immediately, Klein took out the middle bottle to contain the Marionettist potion and unscrewed the lid. Are you about to drink it? He made every second count so as to prevent any mishaps. As he gulped the potion down, a somewhat bitter potion with a mustiness surged down his throat, into his gullet, and into his stomach. Suddenly, Klein found himself abnormally stiff. He felt as though he had returned to the Tingen back when he was being controlled by the strange puppet known as Sealed Artifact 2049, like full circle. He tried moving his joints, but he felt as though they were filled with lead. At the same time, he felt that the tiny worms that were boring into every one of his cells into his spirit body. That's why there was worms, right, in the potion? His thoughts slowed down as his brain reflected the gradual loss of control over his body. The mermaid singing floated over, stirring those desires, the accumulated fantasticism and infatuation, allowing Klein to hold on to his final lumps of emotion. Through this temptation, he slowly escaped the state of petrification. A grayish-white fog quickly surfaced before his eyes, and he heard the illusionary raving. Oh, here we go. He did not hear this when he went faceless. I remember. Hornicus Flagera. We hear it again. Compared to his advancement to a seer, clown, and magician, these ravings appeared staccato, as though they were being disrupted by... They're being disrupted? As though they were being disrupted by someone? Oh, something. It's different from when I became a faceless. The ravings are clearly much stronger. It can intermittently break through the obstacles produced from the fusion of the powers of the gray fog and reality. I can think again. Klein was delighted as he attempted to raise his arm. His joints still felt heavy, but feeling was weakening. At the same time, Klein saw his present appearance. His skin was yellowish-brown, like a puppet that has been buried alive for years with old bandages. Fleshly tendrils were hidden beneath his skin. Ugh, this is gross, man. Ugh. Fleshly tendrils were hidden beneath his skin as he squirmed, separated, and fused. Klein immediately outlined the countless spherical lights in his mind, and he used cognition to calm his present state. This is gross. It's always gross when you drink one, man. It's just body horror. It's too much sometimes. During this process, the mermaid's singing continued to reverberate in his ears, allowing his joints and muscles to twitch before the numbness slowly receded. After an unknown period of time, Klein opened his eyes, his body having completely restored to normal. He took a deep breath and silently sighed. Finally. Dude, he's finally halfway, dude. I'm finally at sequence 5. I'm finally a Marionettist. How it feels to chew 5 gum at me. This is so sick. Did he hit it, dude? He made it. Oh, wait. What does it mean to send? With each note sharply detached or separated from each other. Oh, thank you. That was a music word. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I feel like I should know that. Why do I not know that? I'm sorry. You guys ready though? Let's keep reading, dude. I can't believe he did it. He's finally a Marionettist. New powers? I know. Now I'm ready to see, like, the only powers I can think of now, he can control people like puppets. In my mind, that's what I'm thinking a marionette, like, that is what they do, right? Like a marionettist. Like, now they can, like, attach strings to people and, like, control them in it of some way. And now, like, he has to act as a marionettist. I mean, we'll see if we can come up with his principles soon, like, before, like, they're actually established. But it's cool. It's, like, too many possibilities. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of abilities where you can control people, and with his current agility and his current, like, mysticism abilities, GG, bro. Game over, bro. He's just getting stronger and stronger. He's literally just getting stronger and stronger, and I fucking love it. Oh, wait, I somehow skipped a chapter. Are you guys ready? Let me do my timestamp. Let me sip my coffee. 25 minutes. Oh, 3 seconds. Bear with me. Let me just sip some coffee. Check my phone. Rosago was a marionettist? Well, he was, right? He was capable of slowing down Klein and Sharon. I remember that. He was able to, like, slow down their thoughts. And then that's where Klein had the realization, oh, this is, like, Artifact 2049. That happened in Volume 2, yeah. He's like, this reminds me of Artifact 2049. He did say that. The next chapter will explain all the abilities. Here we go. This chapter is called 665 Spirit Body Threads. Yeah, it's literally, thank you for reminding me, Vic. It literally just like how Rosango was able to control him and he was remembering that sealed artifact 2049. I feel like there has to be more than that, just that one ability. There has to be more. But see, Spirit Body Threads. Under the strange sunlight, the sea reflected a gold shade. Apart from that, deep in Klein's eyes were countless illusionary black lines. They extended from the nearby mermaids, from his body, and from the different parts of the neighboring waters. They were packed densely in thin and numerous threads corresponding to different spots. Some extended into the infinite distance to the ends of the void. This strange, beautiful scene wasn't an unfamiliar sight to Klein, and the few times he'd used the all-black ice power and his usage of it to create the fake world, he had been able to see similar scenes. This was the source of a marionettist beyond his powers. From the knowledge he obtained from the potion, these illusionary, thin, black threads were known as spirit body threads. So your spirit body has threads? Spirit body threads. So now he can control the spirit body? Spirit body threads. By controlling them, one could directly influence the target's soul body, astral projection, body of heart and mind, and ether body. That sounds so busted already, dude. Then, with the ether body as a bridge, one can control the target's body. Oh, and then you directly control the body. You can directly control the physical body through those 5 different means. Got it. Damn. Therefore, all the beyond powers of Marionettist was built on the spirit body threads. Okay. Damn. Yeah, actually, the last chapter was, I think that was the longest chapter we've read. That one was like a lot more pages, and all the other ones have been like between 6 and 7. That was like an 8-page chapter. That one was pretty long. From the knowledge he had obtained from the potion, the illusionary thin black threads were known as... I just read this part. Oh my god, I almost lost my place. Firstly, it could find a hidden target using the spirit body. Threads that existed in every creature. So, like when assassin is being invisible, he'd be able to find them. It was the best measure against... Oh, it was a best measure against a demoness invisibility and a shadow ascetic hiding in the shadows. Of course, Clyde's aware that it was a means to hide one's spirit body. Secondly, it was controlling a target... Let me pull the volume down just a little bit more. Secondly, it was to control a target like a puppet. It would make the target's thoughts and body stiffen. This was a type of forceful control, and it was almost indefensible. The only way of escaping this control was to rely on the potency of one spirit body. It was also no trouble for a Sequence 5 marionettist to control anyone who wasn't a... You can control anyone who isn't a demigod. It was almost no trouble for Sequence 5 marionettist to control anyone who wasn't a demigod. Thirdly, through the passage of time, the control would deepen, and marionettist could completely turn the target into their marionette. Up to a certain distance, they could hide behind... That's what Rosago used against them. Up to a certain distance, they could hide behind the scenes and control the marionette and do battle. Red Devil. No mods, I'm here. While doing so, the Marionette can use all of its original Beyonder powers. Dude, what the fuck? This is truly magical, terrifying, strange, and indescribable. It's the perfect thing for someone working behind the scenes. It's no wonder Rosalgo claimed that the control of the spirit body threads is one of the most difficult abilities to deal with for anyone that isn't a high sequence Beyonder. But it requires time. Control cannot be instantly achieved. It requires a process that deepens with each step until it's ultimately achieved. To attain initial control, the present me needs 20 seconds, but with the digestion of the potion, the time needed would clearly decrease. Once my Marionettist potion completely digests, I might be able to do it with 5 seconds. Yes, before the effects show, the target wouldn't even notice it. Perhaps those with prophetic abilities might not be able to detect it. Damn. The second title update for Monster Hunter Wilds comes out at the end of this month. Oh, yeah, really? They already confirmed it, Milosh? No way. I know it was supposed to come out at the end of the month. I just don't know what day. Yeah, no, I know. I've been keeping up with title update too, dude. Recently, I've been just farming. With I use Ray Dow's light bowgun, and I just spam pierced 3 and then you just do side steps with your special. It's crazy, dude. Bro got hit by the True Creators rap fees. This is novel, so many frauds. Or we're gonna find out. Yeah, good morning. I saw your video on Bilibili. I also like this novel and have finished reading both parts. Oh my god, thank you, dude. Thank you. Yeah, I've been watching the videos you guys have been, like, when people have been uploading videos on Bilibili. I like watching my reactions on Bilibili. It's pretty cool. And then I'll go through some of the comments. I can't really read it, so I just use translate, and it's pretty cool. I like it. Cammy is so right that Rosalgo's a fraud. He is a fraud. He couldn't even do shit. All right, let's keep reading. Are you guys ready? Let's keep going. Once initial control of the target has been achieved, it will immediately be slow to think. Their actions will be impeded and their bodies stiffen. Then, bit by bit, they will develop into a puppet. A marionette. If a marionettist has a partner, this process will make it easy to finish off a target that has been forcibly controlled. Yes, if the enemy's spirit body isn't strong enough, a marionettist will have the strength remaining to even draw a gun or use a mystical item and control with himself. If the controlling process isn't disrupted by an external force, the target will become my marionette after 5 minutes. In a sense, the marionette is truly dead and the process is completely irreversible. Once the potion is completely digested, the time it takes to convert someone into a marionette will definitely be greatly shortened. I'm sorry, that has to be the puppet, right? 2049 had to have been turned into a marionette. That has to be what that is. The maximum number of marionettes I can control at present is 1. I can't be sure how many I can control in the future, but it will definitely increase. The limit seems to max out at 3. This would not only need time, but there's also a distance restriction. I can only use spirit body threads within 100 meters, and to control them, I need to be 5 meters from the target. When controlling marionettes, I can't be more than 100 meters from it. I'm sure it will increase in the future. Apart from keeping its Beyonder powers, a marionette can also normally use mystical items and sealed artifacts. Furthermore, it expands its own spirituality and not mine. Wait. It expands its own spirituality and not mine. Of course, my controlling of the marionette will expand my spirituality itself. The ability is very suited for me in extremely dangerous situations. With me having no choice but to investigate, I can let the marionette do it for me. Although it will be heartbreaking to lose it, it's better than having myself die. Back when Marionette Rosalgo came to duel me, he must have been enraged. He must have been engaged in another operation. This resulted in him losing his marionette. Yes, he must have not fully digested the marionette potion. That's why he wasn't able to achieve initial control over me while waiting for me to open the door. He had to enter in order to converse with me. Oh, that's why he had to be close. In short, this lives up to being a Sequence 5 Beyonder power. Furthermore, Beyonder powers... How much stronger is he now? Furthermore, the Beyonder powers before this have also been enhanced by 50% or even more. So how he has an air cannon now, bro. We went from air bullets to air rifles to air cannons. Now this guy is literally shooting air cannons. I'm really looking forward to knowing what kind of qualitative changes I'll experience when I reach Sequence 4 when possessing so many strange powers. So I don't even know what its name is. For now, we don't know. Klein ended the inspection of his body and reflected wistfully. He then used the experience of setting an activation and deactivation method for his spirit vision to give himself restrictions of seeing spirit body threads so as to not see things he shouldn't see. Activating by tapping my left thumb twice on the first segment of my index finger, repeating this action that deactivates it, same for my right hand. He reined in his thoughts and looked ahead, and he saw that the remaining mermaids had turned around and were looking at him with watery blue eyes. Are they crying? He reined in his thoughts and looked ahead, and he saw that the remaining mermaids had turned around and were looking at him with watery blue eyes. No, just water because of the ocean? Maybe they're emotional? At the thought that he wouldn't lose control and become a sealed... At the thought that he... Oh my god! Oh, wait. It's not that it became a marionette. Sealed Artifact 2049 was probably a person that wasn't able to digest this potion and then just like lost control, and then they became what they would have been able to control. This means that someone within 5 meters of Klein for 5 minutes, they just... Wait, they just die? He's very powerful. If he stands close to you for long enough, you become his puppet? Bro, literally he became a beast tamer, guys. Wait. He's low-key becoming a beast tamer. Wait, what the fuck? That's crazy. This is such a cool-ass ability. It's dangerous, though. So now it's like, not only is he lonely, now he can't be around others for long periods of time unless he's able to control it. Wait, this is just even more sad. This is just gonna further, like... This is going to further fuel his loneliness, man. Technically, I was right. Wait, he can control it, right? Okay, so he can control it. Okay. He can use the experience of setting his activation, deactivation measure for his spirit body vision to give himself the restrictions of seeing spirit body threats so as to not see things he shouldn't see. Activating by tapping my left thumb twice or the further segments of my index finger. Repeating the action deactivates it. Same for my right hand. He reined in his thoughts and looked ahead, and he saw the remaining mermaids had turned around and were looking at him with watery blue eyes. At the thought that he would have lost control and became a sealed artifact akin to 2049 without their singing or the simple ritual, Klein gave them a friendly smile. Oh, he's being nice. Affected by the charm, the mermaids also moved their lips and showed a somewhat embarrassed smile. Did he just raise up a mermaid? What? Klein's risen up a mermaid? Hold up. Okay. As their light purple or deep red lips pattered one by one, Klein saw their teeth. Oh, shit. You gotta go. You gotta go. Razor sharp like wolf fangs. They were white and shiny, and dripping from them was a sticky liquid. Oh, okay, hold up. We gotta go. We gotta go. Too much risk. Too much risk. Klein was taken aback. He discovered that this was even more unacceptable for him than a real monster. He had originally mentally prepared for himself and treated mermaids as creatures that swam in the sea. Therefore, no matter how crazy and terrifying they looked, he believed that he could tolerate it. However, the situation was somewhat beyond his expectations. Mermaids were clearly beautiful and alluring females on the surface. Their tails had a hetero sense of beauty, but their teeth were nasty and disgusting. This was a stark contrast that Klein couldn't take. He nearly moved his eyes away. Waving his hand, he quickly took out his charm of the sea god domain and created another gale of wind to push his dinghy back to the future. Along the way, Klein couldn't help but recollect the feelings he just had. So the mermaid singing is meant for neutralizing and balancing. Otherwise, most faceless are unable to resist the corrosion of their own spirit body. Threats by the Marionettist potion, they directly lose control because of that. Luckily, ones like Calvatul aren't included. Perhaps it's because of the lack of the ritual's help that it's relatively weaker. In theory, as long as there's a voice or beyond a power with similar effects, they can be used to replace as mermaid singing, but people who haven't personally experienced it themselves wouldn't be able to tell the minute differences. Therefore, high sequence beyonders who aren't from the seer pathway would find it difficult to provide any effective suggestions. Amidst his thoughts, the dinghy returned to the future. With a rope, Klein eased returned to the deck. Anderson Hood stood by the shipboard and chuckled. So your search of mermaids was a requirement of a ritual, and not because you wished to obtain the corresponding ingredients. That's obvious. Klein succinctly replied. All right. Would. Anderson shrugged and said, no, it's not. An normal person will guess that mermaids are the ingredients you need, as this doesn't match the rituals needed by a sequence 4. But who knew that adventurer German Sparrow, who was at the level Pirate Admiral, was only a sequence 6? What do you mean only? Klein resisted the urge of controlling Anderson's spirit. Like, do you know how hard I've worked for, like, only sequence 6? Spirit body threads. Ignoring the strongest hunter, and now he's at the same sequence as the world's strongest hunter. Ignoring the strongest hunter, who automatically had a provocative halo, he entered the cabin and returned to the room. Just as he approached the captain's cabin, he heard a crack at the door before it had opened. Catleya didn't wear her heavy glasses. She looked at German Sparrow as her dark purple hue in her eyes swirled. Congratulations on your advancement. Previously in my dream, did I say something? You know what you said. Klein replied with a deadpan expression. Cat Leah fell silent for 2 seconds before saying, you questioned me about my relationship with Queen Mystic. As she spoke, she couldn't help but look around. She had guessed at Queen Mystic by me in the future because of my rather sudden question. I really had to be careful when conversing with a smart person. Klein nodded, walked past her, and returned to his room, leaving the corridor in silence. Only when he opened the door and took a step inside did he hear Cat Leah's voice sound out from the captain's cabin, and he reverberated through the entire ship. Set sail for return to voyage, and it's over. I'm sad. German Sproul's gonna be gone when we go back, dude. Inside the room, Klein waited for a few minutes before re-entering the bathroom. He set up the ritual again and through creeping hunger, which was turning more irresistible due to the lack of food above the gray fog. After doing this, he wasn't in a rush to leave. He summoned the distorted iron-black tinder and made it land before him. After studying it for a moment, Klein placed the tinder inside the iron cigar case and threw it into the junk pile. Although this expensive glove was now unusable, would it be unusable? Because it's getting hungry? Klein was certain that the trash could still be used. Did he just call creeping hunger trash? Could still be used. Immediately following that, he slowly took off his already silent creeping hunger, and he simultaneously placed it into the junk pile. Klein remained silent for 2 seconds before leaving the palace that looked like a giant's residence, and then he ventured deep into mysterious space above the gray fog. I wonder if there's like a new step now, right? Tender? Dude, on me, it says Tinder. People have been telling me it's called Tinder, but like for me, it says Tinder, like the app. That's how it's spelled for me. From his previous expert. I'll look it up right now. Look, I can literally just Google Translate. Let me see. Here, look. Actually, no. Well, let's use text-to-speech. You ready?
After studying it for a moment, Klein placed Tinder inside.
You see, it says Tinder. Inside the iron cigar threw into the junk pile. Immediately following that, he slowly took off the already silent creeping hunger, and he similarly placed it into the junk pile. Klein remained silent for 2 seconds before leaving the palace that looked like a giant's residence, and then he ventured deeper into the mysterious space above the gray fog. There's gonna be a new step, right? From the four big steps, from his previous exploration, discovered a bright staircase that seemed to lead to heaven. He suspected that the number of steps had something to do with his sequence, therefore he merely came to here to confirm it after advanced. After walking for a while, Klein finally saw the whole staircase made out of pure light. Compared to before, there was another step, making it a total of 5 steps. Indeed, Klein sighed unsurprised. Then he climbed up the staircase that appeared to be prepared for giants and arrived. He's at the top? And arrived at the top. At that moment, he wasn't that far from the gray fog, which hardened in mid-air. He seemed to just need one more step to reach that height. Klein subconsciously looked up and seemed to see something. What a cliffhanger chapter, man. If I had to wait for that, I'd be so mad. Klein subconsciously looked up and like, what did he see? All right. Now I'm excited to see Sinbad's arc in this series. Yeah, I know. I want to see what he's all up about. Let me just do my timestamp. Hold up. Before we continue, let me just do my timestamp. Wait, I know I missed your guys' messages. One sec. 40 minutes. 19 seconds. We're going to read 666. That's a... German is only an identity, not Klein. Of course, has to go like the others. No. He can make like German a part of him, though, man. Like, come on, man. At the end of the day, as a faceless, you know it's only your identity. But like, even German himself was a little, like, it was a little bit of him, right? So we can still probably see like a little bit of German in him down the road. He called tender trash, not creeping. Oh, he called tender trash, not creeping hunger. Damn, I miss Mermaid Doodles. I'm sorry, Wes. Of course, the text-to-speech will say Tinder if the text says Tinder. Yeah, it's true. Papio is digesting his swindler potion. German needs to make way so that Sinbad can shine. No, he can't. All right, hold up. Let me turn on my fan, and we'll keep reading. Oh, man, I'm sore. I'm so sore today, man. I was working out yesterday, and my whole body is so stiff right now, man. Oh my god. Just give me a sec, guys. Oh man. Ginger's chest now because it's oh, but wouldn't he be able to remove the mental corruption? now that he knows the ritual. But they basically switched places. Yeah, I get that part. So now the mental corruption went to that artifact after it left Rosalgo's all black eye. Okay. But let's keep reading. I'm thinking if it, dude, coffee just isn't strong enough for me anymore. Like, I'm still sleepy, dude. I need more. That or it's 2 cups, and I don't want to get used to 2 cups of coffee, man. TikTok? Bro, it's not the corruption. Bro, it's not the corruption of a sequence 0. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You guys ready, though? Let's update this, and let's keep reading. 666. 24-hour energy. I kind of think I do need that. He has to find another item with like tinder. Okay, with a steal effect. Oh, you're right. He didn't use a ritual. He used the item to steal it. Duh, my bad. That's the whole point of getting it. Sorry, I had it backwards. I thought he did a ritual, but no. He used tinder to remove the mental corruption, not necessarily the ritual itself, right? But he used an item to steal it. Got it. Next chapter, chapter 666, is called Afternoon Town. That's Klein's eyes reflected a nearby transparent object. It appeared like a carapace of something, occasionally shrinking and vanishing from Klein's line of sight, and at times peeking out due to an invisible wind, revealing some of its outlines. With it acting as an anchor point and looking further up, there were colors of green that was almost black standing there silently. Then they looked at the colors of the trees of a dark forest. Klein mumbled without imagining what the object of those colors signified. All he could do was boldly guess that it could do something to do with gaining a deeper control of the mysterious space above the gray fog. Without trying to do something that was destined to be in vain, he jumped down from the staircase that seemed to lead to heaven as he faced back inside the palace. One sec. Let me move this down a little bit. Because I feel like it's cropping me out, like, just a little bit. I feel like this, because I was, like, down here. But I feel like this, now you guys can see me a little bit better. So I think that's good. Guys, good news. I got a streamer to watch several LOTM trailers and also invade. The way you say it, Mila, so I invaded his Discord server to spread LOTM even more. No, wait. You make it sound bad when we say we invaded the Discord server. No. You have to say, like, I enter the Discord server and spread the holiness of Lord of the Mysteries. By the way, thank you guys. There's like almost 40 of you guys here. Yes, spread the teachings of the full. But say you enter. Don't say you invaded. It's going to make us LOTM fans look bad. But I'm excited, dude. Bro is the mental corruption. Dude, I'm excited. This is the one thing. Like, before we start reading, hold up. Before we start reading, I need to change the music. And also, like, this feels like, it feels like that was the end of volume 3. But there's still so much more. I know it doesn't end for like another 60, 70 chapters. And I'm like, bro, what can happen in volume 3 out at sea for like 70 more chapters? Now that's what has me puzzled. Now I don't know where the series is going to go in this part. Like, I figured it end with him going back to Backland, right? And then volume, like, that's a lot. Okay, wait, we don't want to get into. He said a lot. Okay, we'll leave it there. Okay, a lot. So there's still more to come. I find it crazy. Like, in my mind, I thought, like, bam, this would have led to the ending of the volume. But, like, I know it's not because there's still, like, 60, 70. But I'm excited, dude. Because this is so far by this. Oh, I don't. Oh, wait, lots of let cuttlefish cook. All right, we're gonna let him cook. I know there's no mods today, so I'm a little scared to read you guys, not because I don't trust you guys, but this has been my favorite volume so far, and now I'm like, now we're at like that final act. Like, for me, that felt like a final act, but that wasn't a final act. That was like the transition arc from Act 2 to Act 3, and now I'm like, where does Act 3 go in this volume, right? That's Klein's eyes reflected a nearly transparent object. It appeared like a carapace of something, occasionally shrinking and vanishing from Klein's line of sight, at times peeking out due to an invisible wind, revealing some of its outlines. With it acting as an anchor point and looking further up, there were colors of green that was almost black, standing there silently. That looks like the colors of the trees of a dark forest. Klein mumbled without imagining what the object of those colors signified. All he could do was boldly guess that it had something to do with gaining a deeper control of the mysterious space above the gray fog. Without trying to do something that was destined to be in vain, he jumped down from the staircase that seemed to lead to the heaven and faced back into the palace. With the existence of Queen Mystic in mind, Klein did some simple tidying up before leaving the gray fog and returning to his bathroom. After tying up loose ends, he walked to his suitcase, took off the sun brooch, and wore it on the double-breasted frock coat. After all the turmoil he had been waiting through, the mystical items he could now use had returned to the state when he was in Backland. However, he was already a Sequence 5 and possessed one of the most difficult powers to deal with below of that of a demigods. He was, in the true sense of the word, a powerhouse in the Beyond world. I should be very agitated and happy, but I'm actually not. I'm even as excited as when I found mermaids. This is because I've just taken another step of my road to revenge. The true goal I wish to achieve is still a distance away. Following this, I should conclude the principles in digest of the Marionettist potion and seek out the corresponding sequence 4 formulas and ingredients. Yes, I can only do all of these things after leaving these waters. Next, I'll seek out advice from Mr. Zick, Wool, Ossipton, and the roads. I should relax for the next few days. Being overly tense might break me down and cause me to have symptoms of losing control. Klein turned to look at the full-body mirror in his room, looking at his 1.8 meter tall build, black hair and brown eyes, with thin face and cut features, dressed in a white shirt, a suit with a bow tie, and a top hat that was matched with a pale gold sunbird brooch. He wore a calm expression with a deep, dark gaze. After looking at it in silence, he raised his hands and adjusted the button and cuffs. Sorry, I had a burp. And patted his black suit. Lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the stacked dark buildings ahead. Demon Hunter Colin Iliad, with 2 swords on his back, pointed ahead and said, "That's Afternoon Town?" Afternoon Town. Okay, this sounds interesting. He combed his grizzled hair that was flying about in the wind that swept through the wilderness. That's fast. With the axe or hurricane in his hand, Derek signed wistfully in surprise. He soon realized that it was reasonable development. That was because the Giant King's Court was located somewhere near the City of Silver. Afternoon Town was an intersecting point that connected both nodes. With the lightning that illuminated the night sky, he clearly saw Afternoon Town in its entirety. It was built at the foot of a mountain and was naturally split into the upper and lower levels. Let me lower the volume down a bit. Upper and lower levels. Instead of calling it a town, it was much smaller than most of the ruins of the City of Silver found. The graden stones were stacking in different buildings. Some were entirely emptied out, nearing 10 meters. Some were similar to the resistance Derek currently resided in. It was short, as though any normal person would hit their heads onto the ceiling. What the fuck? These buildings are arranged close together before spreading out. Some of them had collapsed, with a number of remaining standing despite showing signs of age and tear. Any theories on what be the Giant King's Court? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, the way I view, I feel like the Giant King Court and the modeled bronze table, when you go above the gray fog, are in and of itself like the same, not necessarily the same thing, but like they're connected in some way, shape, or form. Like the Giant King's Court is a physical representation, and like when you go above the gray fog, that's like the original manifestation of that court. Just because everything is so giant like when you go above the gray fog. But like I don't know, man. It's so interesting. And I literally don't know. The area had been cleared once. I don't know. I'm excited for whatever it ends up being, you know? This area had been cleared once on the first exploration. The streets were covered with signs of rotting flesh and dry puns. It was completely silent. Be careful. There are many strange monsters lurking in the darkness. Colin Iliad, with his scared face, didn't let down his guard. He threw out his dual swords. Of the silver light of his sword converged. This is the mythical door? This is the mythical door. When the creator abandoned this piece of land, even the myths were abandoned. Derek couldn't help but imagine what Afternoon Town had experienced during the Cataclysm. He instinctively felt that it was probably different from the Kingdom of Silver. Before he could carefully observe his surroundings in search of possible clues, he suddenly heard a teammate on the other's flank anxiously cry out, "There's something." Derek turned his head and saw a transparent face growing out of the wall of a 10-meter tall stone building. The face was filled with countless cracks with great regularity. They spiraled around the center, forming a single eye or mouth that resembled a vortex. Fuck is this? Like, I'm sorry, are we reading Uzumaki? Like, there's like a vortex in it? Like, what the fuck? The hurricane within the vortex was corporeal, and it spewed out with a howl. The dawn-like light from within was dense, as though they were arrows of light. Bam, bam, bam. They struck a few members of the exploration team, but they seemed to strike thick city walls. All they produced was dull and closely spaced out thuds before dispersing into the dark environment. At some point in time, City Silver, calling Iliad, was genuflecting. He stabbed the silver sword in his hand into the rotting gray ground. He had provided the front row with the strongest protection. At the same time, the other mermaids of the exploration team methodically unleashed their attacks. Hurricanes of light and scarlet fireballs struck the monster. Right on the heels of that, the holy light of Derek summoned had landed in the vortex that resembled a single eye. Amidst the explosive boom, the boulders, which had originally covered in cracks, collapsed. A transparent face screamed as it vaporized. Although the battle was simple, Derek didn't feel happy at all. He had heard Mr. Hangman and Miss Justice discuss the cases of Beyonder fights. Matching it with great experience, the City of Silver had accumulated from resisting all kinds of monsters from the darkness. He worriedly discovered that the City of Silver had a limited number of pathways. Those who were not demigods lacked effective means of control, and the situation from before proved his point. Thankfully, there are sealed artifacts that are formed when monsters die to make up for this. Derek silently thought as he heard the chief instruct, move according to the plan. 3 to 4 people a group, search and clear the different areas. Yes, Chief, the exploration team members were mostly rich in experience. They soon formed their groups. All right, here we go. What's happening? What's happening? Talk to me. Derek's groups consisted of 3 people. Apart from him, there was Joshua and Haim, who had been the abandoned temple from him. The former was a Sequence 7 weapon master, and he had a mystical glove that could control fire. The latter was a recently advanced Sequence 6 Dawn Paladin. He was tall and reached a height of 2.3 meters tall. The City of Silver, which had warriors, also known as the Giant... The City of Silver, which had warriors, also known as the Giant Pathway of the main force, had an average height of 1.8 meters tall, close to 6 feet, including children above the age of 6. What the fuck? They're that tall? Even if the Beyonder characteristics were inherited, normal genes that were modified had accumulated with each generation. Although Derek wasn't odd, he was nearly 1.8 meters tall and still had room to grow. According to the designated targets, Derek, Joshua, and Haim entered an alley on the left in a triangular battle formation that checked every building that still allowed entry. Perhaps a result of the former sweep, they didn't encounter any monsters. They couldn't help but feel a little relieved. Rumor has it that the 6-member council planned to set up camp here and make Afternoon Town a stronghold. Joshua, who was wearing a scarlet glove on his left palm, said after observing the building. Haim nodded and looked down at the 2 partners. The true target seems to be, he pointed diagonally upwards, the Giant King's Court. Derek asked in surprise, Isn't it a search for the sea where Jack and company came from? Don't we need to circle the Giant King's Court? Derek was filled with puzzlement. Haim shook his head. I've only heard rumors. I'm sorry. Is the Giant King's Court like the bridge? With how like Jack and his dad were able to go through? I've only heard rumors. He swept his gaze and pointed at the entrance to the underground chamber. Let's finish our search first. Derek answered tearfully. With his night vision and ability to emit light, he wasn't afraid of the darkness as he stepped into the underground chamber first. Haim lifted an animal hind lantern while Joshua followed closely in town. This building's underground chamber was rather wide, with traces of dried, blackening pools. The smell of blood remained despite the many years that had possessed. Derek surveyed the area and suspected that a sacrificial ritual had once been held there. A very, very long time ago, he silently added and discovered a candle left on the stone door which resembled an altar. He felt more certain about his guesses. Why would the residents of Afternoon Town secretly hold sacrificial rituals in their underground basements when the Giant King's Court was in power? They're in power and they're still holding rituals. Was in power. They were believers of Giant King Court. Later they came under the lore that created everything. The owner of this building secretly worshipped other gods. Questioning arose in him as Derek approached the altar. He saw that the stone table was originally carved with words, but they had been damaged by either natural or unnatural elements. After some careful identification, Derek found 3 names. Ouroboros. Oh my god, I said Ouroboros. Okay. So we're finding the King of Angels. After some careful identification, Derek found 3 names. Ouroboros, Medici, and Sasrir? That's another known. That is the 4th King of Angel? Wait, hold up. I'm treating Amon as like a confirmed but unconfirmed third king of angels. So Sasrir would be the confirmed third king of angels, alleged fourth king of angels. Sasrir. Let me see. I can't pronounce this. Sasrir. Sasrir. Ouroboros, isn't that the name of the angel of fate? Mr. Fool mentioned before that Medici is also a king of angels. Sasrir is another one. Derek suddenly felt excited and horrified as he hurriedly turned his head to shout as his companions took a look. Oh, Sasrir. Oh, like a seer. Ah, I see what you did there. Sasrir. Sasrir? Let me see. Sometimes text-to-speech is a little finicky. Let me try one more time. Sasrir.
Sasrir.
Sasir. Like Sasir. Oh, Sasir? Sasir. See, we have a lot of different... Everybody's pronouncing it in a different way. All right, but it's okay. We'll call him Sass. He might be a sassy angel for all we know. You know? I'm kidding. I'll shut up. I don't think he's going to be a sassy angel. But in his vision, the underground chamber was empty. There was only darkness, Haim, and Joshua, who were supposed to be behind him. Oh, shit. They disappeared. Sassy. Yeah, we'll just call him Sassy for short. He turned his head to shout out for his companions to take a look, and they're gone. But in his vision, the underground chamber was empty. There was only darkness. Haim and Joshua, who were supposed to be behind him, were gone. Damn. They're freaking gone, dudes. Well, I'm sorry. Can't Derek now light up the ground as a solar high priest? Right? I thought he was able to do that now. All right, let's do my timestamp. 54 minutes. 26 seconds. Okay. Let's do this. Beautiful. He can, but he uses spirituality, so it's best... Oh, okay. He can, but he uses spirituality, so it's better of a use of a torture lamp. Okay. So it's better to use like an actual item rather than wasting your spirituality when you can have something do it. Okay. Okay. Fuck, I got lightheaded. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get to 700. I'm gonna end stream, and then I'll come back at the normal time when a trailer drops. So if there's a trailer drop, we watch it, and then after that, we keep reading. Good pace too. Yo, I'm proud. Oh, thank you, 10. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're just gonna reach to 700. We're gonna end, and then we're gonna come back around the time trailers drop today. Yeah, today. Yeah, we'll come back at that time. But for now, we're gonna keep reading to 700. That way, we read from 663 to like 700. Yeah, we're gonna hit 700 today, and then when I come back, we're probably gonna read for like another 2-3 hours. I clip the Giant King's Core Theory. Okay, I realize, because I usually go through clips. Hold up, I promise I'm not being sidetracked. Dude, thank you for subscribing, dude. Thank you so much. We're over 2,625 now. I realized there's a part that says your clips. So there's clips I've made, and then there's clips by viewers. Oh, and like already I have Milosh's clip. Now I can turn all of these into shorts. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna turn all of them into shorts from this end, because when I was doing it from my phone, I wasn't able to. Yeah. So don't worry. I'll try and turn them all. What the fuck? Easy hates dwarves. Clipped by roads. I never said I hate dwarves. Who said that? Yeah, that was fucking funny. That was a funny clip. You're gonna read to 680 max? No. Oh wait, what the fuck? I'm so stupid. I'm gonna read to 670. Not 700. I'm gonna read to 670 for this stream, and then I'm gonna come back later. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. Wow. Shit, man. That's so much more disappointing. L. I was 30 chapters off, bro. Baited. Wait, no, I misspoke. I didn't mean I was gonna read to chapter 700. I was gonna read to chapter 670. That's more reasonable. There you go. Like, that makes more sense. My bad. That's what I meant. And then when I come back, we read from 670 to like maybe 680. That's what I meant. And then tomorrow we read from 680 to 690. 700 equals 670 now. No takebacks. All right, let's keep reading. Yeah, my bad. I messed up. I didn't mean 700. I meant 670. Chapter 667 is called prayer. They're gone. They're only darkness. Faced with such a sudden change, Derek's first reaction was horror. Instead, he clasped his hands together and pressed it to his mouth. Pure light was emitted out of his body as he dispersed the surrounding darkness, illuminating every corner of his underground chamber. And Derek's living environment, darkness was the most terrifying existence. Once they left the city of Silver, they had to constantly maintain the existence of light. Even a brief loss of light couldn't last for more than 5 seconds. When Derek first joined the exploration teams and lacked experience, he had nearly killed himself because of such mistakes. Thankfully, the chief was standing nearby. As the light slowly and continuously radiated from him, Derek raised his tightly gripped axe of Hurricane and carefully observed his surroundings. He discovered that apart from Haim and Joshua, the teammates who had entered the underground chamber with him vanished. The stone slabs and tufts of black hair on the walls had turned blood and red at some point in time. They were moist as though they had just been sprayed. Also, update. Oh my, did I forget to update? Thank you. This calmed down Derek, who was very well versed with exploration materials, to realize a possibility. The problem didn't stem from Haim or Joshua, but himself. All I did was approach the altar and silently read. Oh wait, because he approached an altar, maybe this one is like, this one's darkness, right? The other one was like, the other one involved time. The other one involved being unlucky. Maybe this one involves the darkness. All I did was approach the altar and silently read 3 names. Typically speaking, even angels require someone to read or write them down, or an accurate honorific name, and is complete before being they can receive prayers, and it supposedly limits by range. I wonder if King of Angels requires the same condition. Of those 3 names was the key to activating the hidden powers in the altar. It'd be the sassy one, right? I triggered the problem by using Jotun, which can stir the powers of nature. No, that's not right. It needs to be said out loud. Even if these are the true names of the Kings of Angels, I've never faced such problems in the past. Derek anxiously turned his body while feeling perplexed. He returned to the altar and came to the stone door. The stone table. He was surprised to see that the words and symbols on the stone table were a lot more complete and clearer than before. It was as though the host of the ritual had just done it. The words were written in the languages. They were in Jotun Dragonese, and a language that Derek couldn't recognize. A language he doesn't recognize. And a language that Derek couldn't recognize. However, he suspected that it was the ancient Hermes previously mentioned by Miss Justice. So that further proves that they're connected if they're finding Hermes here. That Miss Justice and Mr. Hangman, this was because he had a basic understanding of some of the words from the conversations during the Tarot Club gathering. They were rather similar to the words used on the stone table. The context expressed by Jotun and Dragonese were identical. They repeated the 3 names in their corresponding titles: Angel of Fate, Ouroboros, Red Angel, Medici, Dark Angel, Caesarea. Okay, look. So he's the one that controls darkness. Following these, you're going to hit already? Don't worry, we'll have the VODs up right away. I got you, 10. Following these names and titles was an entity Derek was very familiar with: Rose Redemption. Caesar really is a king of angels, one known as the Dark Angel. He, Angel of Fate, and a Red Angel are the founders of the Rose Redemption. I wonder if Mr. Full knows anything about him. He definitely knows a lot. The words in Ancient Hermes shouldn't likely be the same content. In the afternoon town, which had already converted to the faith of the Lord that created everything, there were residents who were secretly worshipping the 3 kings of angels besides the Lord. Upon having this thought, Derek suddenly felt a chill run down his back. He felt as though he had the closest reason for the Creator had abandoned the lands. It has to be the Abyss, right? Like, if it's darkness, I don't think it's criminal. I don't think it's criminal. I feel like it's the Abyss. Abyss or Prisoner. No, I think it's the Abyss pathway. It has to be part of the Abyss pathway, and maybe that's why they started the Rose Redemption. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if you're yeah, I know. If it's the founders of the Rose Redemption, and is this fucking sinister? I guess. I feel like it's. Wait. Wait, no, criminal. No, wait, no, I mean, prisoner. Not prisoner. Sorry, not prisoner, because that's the mutant pathway. I know that. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's probably the criminal pathway. That's the Abyss pathway. That's what I meant. Sorry, I confused criminal and prisoner. Sorry. Yeah, the Rose pathway. I feel like it's probably that. Whatever it is, it probably has to do with the Abyss or like whatever the Rose is. When he looked up again, he saw that the walls remained red, but Haim and Joshua were still nowhere to be seen. Silently repeating them didn't do a thing. Perhaps they don't produce any effects on their own. Derek drew a breath as he raised his axe of Hurricane. He carefully walked towards the entrance of the underground chamber, hoping to find the problem at its roots. so as to determine what led to his present situation. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, like a gigantic candle, he returned to the hall upstairs. There were rich shadows here, making it gloomy and eerily silent. The rotting chairs and the remnants of the stone tables remaining sitting there in silence, no different from before. Failing to find Joshua and Haim, Derek couldn't only walk towards the window. He felt high-strung. He wanted to see if he could encounter other members of the exploration team. Thud, thud. Amidst the light footstep sounds, he approached a huge hole that should have been a windowsill. He leaned forward and looked outside. Countless dark buildings spread out, either tall or short, as he extended outwards like steps. The lighting in there happened in a very low frequency, as many windows had candlelight emitting out of them. The dim yellow flames danced but weren't extinguished. This Derek couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He felt as though all the residents were still living in peace just before the afternoon town encountered cataclysm. Haim, who was carrying an animal hind lantern, didn't need to bend his back to enter the underground chamber. He jokingly said to Joshua, "This house must belong to humans, but their family definitely has giant bloodlines in them. They're probably my height. Tisk, the last time we went to the ruined city, we had to bow our heads when using the main doors." Having a giant's bloodline didn't necessarily mean that they had giant blood flowing in them. Wait, having a giant's bloodline didn't necessarily mean that they had giant blood flowing in them. Instead, it referred to a physical characteristic that was inherited by the descent. That was mentioned before. Instead, it referred to a physical. That was mentioned like in like volume 1, right, or early volume 2. Instead, it referred to a physical characteristic that was inherited by the descendants thanks to the consumption of the Pathways potion. Being taught was one of its manifestations. Joshua looked at Haim and scoffed. "That was you. I didn't need to, but you won't take long before you can advance. When the time comes, you won't be shorter than me," Haim said with a smile before glancing at Derek via the corner of his eyes. It was to prevent any accidents from happening when Derek approached the altar. Joshua thought before saying, "Actually, I'm very curious. Chief is a sequence 4 demon hunter. He should be like an ordinary giant with a height of 3 to 4 meters. He should be like an ordinary giant with a height of 3 to 4 meters, but he's not. So he should be like 12 feet tall. You made your original pathways. I made 23. Yo, that's sick, dude. That's the 3rd blasphemy slate right there. Anything happens easy. As to be in the abyss, bro. I'm telling you. Anything happens. What does he look? Very ordinary, and with him being only half a head taller than me. Haim subconsciously surveyed the area and said, "Rumor has it the chief has a giant. You can have a giant form? A giant form? What? Will his clothes tear when he becomes a giant, like the Hulk?" Joshua asked with a laugh. Unless his clothes and pants are mystical items, Haim and Joshua exchanged a knowing smile. They were just about to turn their heads to share a joke with Derek when they realized that the youth was gone. Oh, he's gone. Derek, who should have been standing by the altar, had vanished. Haim and Joshua expressions instantly turned heavy. One of them raised his huge broadsword while the other raised his red-gloved left hand. They carefully approached the altar and did a careful inspection, but they failed to identify anything suspicious. Joshua was just about to attempt to identify the words of the storm table when Haim patted him on the shoulder. "Don't look at it. I just recalled that Derek was looking at those words before he vanished. Let's bring the chief here, okay?" Joshua nodded. They didn't leave it in a fluster. They surveyed the surroundings before one of them rubbed his index finger with his middle finger to light the remaining candles on the altar. This was to protect Derek so as to prevent him from falling into the darkness. In the past, the exploration teams of the City of Silver had similar encounters in the ruined cities. A teammate might appear to have suddenly vanished, but they could actually been concealing by some kind of power. He stood in his original location, but with his teammates eager to seek help, they would leave the area with their lanterns. Hence, the poor bastard would be devoured by the true darkness, never to be found again. If it wasn't for another teammate finding themselves in another similar situation and have been rescued on the spot, the others wouldn't have known the actual reason for the previous person's death. With the candle lit, the dim yellow light spread outwards. Him and Joshua immediately left and arrived at the alley, where they released a spirituality signal that everyone cried out, based. They didn't wait too long for Colin and Elia to have jumped off from the window roof to another building before landing firmly. "What happened?" the demon hunter asked in a deep voice. The silver sword in his hand was already covered with a layer of light gray oil. Haim immediately recounted what had happened. Finally, he said, "We discovered the reason for Derek's disappearance." Derek, Colin, not in thought, walked up past him and headed straight for the corresponding building. "You should make me YouTube mod so I can delete any spoilers." "Oh, really?" Was there spoilers? Yeah, I mean, right now, how are spoilers right now? Have there been any crazy spoilers right now? I mean, I could. Let me stretch. No spoilers? I mean, when there's spoilers, you guys let me know. There wasn't, but there might be in the future. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read a little bit more, and then I'm gonna come back later. So I think we're still good right now. There wasn't, but there might be in the future. Okay. Yeah, no, I think we're talking about it. Like, I know you. I mean, I know other people have been here a lot too. Like even Vec, Richie, they've been here long too. Milosh Ascend, Kyle Roy. I mean, I know there's been a lot of you guys been tuning in. I know you guys haven't really been spoiling anything. I know there's somebody else I've missed. Pap? I don't think has Pap. I don't think Pap's Pap and Ebby. I know you guys haven't really said anything, so I think we're good. Making Milosh mod is one. We'll have a roundtable meeting. Well, how about this? We will have a roundtable meeting with all our current mods, and we will have. Actually, no, not a roundtable meeting. We will have a tarot gathering. Don't trust Vex. It's like make me. No, make me. No, that's right. I still have school, so I couldn't be. No, you guys are good. I'll do this. We will have a tarot gathering with the current mods, and we will come to a decision on the next nominee. We will have a nominee. We will have a vote. We'll do that, just to be safe. The mods should have tarot cards. That'd be pretty fucking cool, dude. Like, and what I do want to do, like, also for the membership icons, I do want to change them because I know you can change it. Because I think I can change it, right? I figured I can do that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll talk about it. Heck. Oh shit, man! I'm fucking sleepy. Yeah, we're gonna have a mod tarot club. I think the best thing to do is actually have a mod tarot club. Oh, we're gonna keep reading. Anybody can do that, bro? Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens right now. But here, let's finish this chapter for now. Despite the candles, a light outside, and the wall in the warm yellow color, Derek felt as though he had fallen into the frozen abyss. A chill at the bottom of his heart kept spreading. He clenched the axe of Hurricane with his right hand and retracted his gaze from the town. He turned to return to the underground chamber and stood in front of the altar again. He had already determined that he was one with the problem. However, he didn't have the urge to explore the strange afternoon town. He didn't even dare to open the door. Derek wasn't nervous, nor did he show any obvious signs of flusters. This was because he didn't believe that he had encountered something severe. As long as it's not an immediate threat, it's nothing severe. Derek took a silent breath, bowed his head, and reverently whispered, "The fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the great fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck." Klein, who had been admiring the scenery of the battlefield of the gods, had no choice but to go to the bathroom, set up the disruptive items, and take 4 steps counterclockwise to head above the gray fog. He sat up at the high-backed chair at the end of the long bronze table. He stretched out his right hand and emitted his spirituality, touching the crimson star which represented the little sun. Suddenly, the prayers turned abnormally clear, and the corresponding scene appeared before Klein. He first saw the still, hazy little sun before discovering the environment around him was abnormal. Swirling around the sun was an unspeakable darkness, and the darkness there was the eyes of the different shapes silently watching him. So I guess it is the abyss, right? The eyes were densely packed and hidden in darkness. They were like unwelcomed observers, which little son hadn't noticed at all. Afternoon town is that dangerous. Klein was very aware of what dear son was up to lately. He thought for a moment and instinctively believed that the darkness was extremely strange and surreal. Therefore, he abandoned the option and used Sea God Scepter to respond to Little Sun. Instead, he switched to pulling him up above the Great Fog. Klein extended his spirituality, but he felt as though the Crimson Star seemed to be in a quagmire, making it rather difficult for him to pull him over. Which king of angels has he crossed this time? Like, who did he cross this time? Which king of angels has he crossed this time? With a thought, Klein made the mysterious space and the gray fog beneath him produce ripples. After advancing to sequence 5, he could stir some of the powers above the gray fog without the use of Black Emperor card and the corresponding rituals. Suddenly, Klein easily completed the transporting derrick as his figure appeared on the high-backed chair belonging to him. Meanwhile, Klein saw the strange darkness swirling around Littleson's body shatter. The demon hunter entered the underground chamber in high alert, following closely by the Heim and Joshua. They saw that in front of the dim yellow candlelight, Derek Bird's figure was quickly outlined like a picture? What? The fuck just happened? Alright, let me do my timestamp and let's keep reading. Shit, I'll be honest, I don't think we're gonna get to 6, 7. I think I'm gonna just stream right now for 2 hours and then I'll come back. I think I'm gonna keep it to 2 hours. I'm gonna keep it because I haven't eaten yet. So I think I am gonna keep it at 2 hours. I think I'll probably go live before the trailer drops, and I'm gonna finish reacting to the rest of To Be Hero X's that current character. I just washed my white shirt with a black clothes. Oh, you mix your clothes, bro. Ooh, that's not good, brother. At least it's not like Spider-Man when he threw his suit with his white shirts and then they all turned like pink, you know? Now the shirts just look more stylish, you know? It's like they fit with the trends. Audrey stars Red and Dunhua. Oh, maybe that's why there is the reds. Maybe that's why in that one trailer in the full trailer, what's it called? He kept seeing the red and blue stars swirling around him because blue represented Olger and red represented Audrey. You're sabotaging Wiz every time the previews drop. Am I? I feel bad, dude, because I also want. Well, to be fair, when the trailers drop, I only watch the trailer and then I go back off. Then I go back offline. Yeah, I guess that's the one bad thing. Since we're so close in time zones, our streams are kind of lining up. And the only reason I have so much free time right now is because my loving missus, she's on vacation right now. She's taking a little trip. She went without me, so it's okay. Yeah, she's taking a little time off. She's out there traveling right now, and she's not back till tomorrow. So like that's why I've had slightly more time, and I've been streaming slightly stronger. I've been streaming slightly longer. When does the trailer drop? There should allegedly a trailer in 4 hours and 40 minutes from now. Iris, 4 hours and 40 minutes from now, there should be a new trailer. Maybe. There should be a halfway trailer. What it's going to be, I don't know. Some people were saying mystery prior. Miss Geeky is a traveler. Oh, traveler confirmed. Less than 5 hours? Yeah, it's like less than 5 hours. And 4 hours and 42 minutes from now, there should be one. What pathways are left in Volume 1? Mystery prior, right? Like old Neo. Like we had an old Neo trailer, right? But there might not be a pathway preview since the latest. Maybe there won't be anymore. Yeah, like it's like it's up in the air, right? Like if we don't get a trailer today, then it's GG. I think it's over. Mr. Brown wasn't shown that much, so I don't think it's gonna be that. Okay. Like the only thing I could see is like a Derek trailer, but I kind of don't even want a Derek trailer because he's such an enigma that gets introduced towards the end of Volume 1. So maybe no. Maybe Apprentice since we still haven't seen 4s. No, I feel like all that would be like... I feel like they're gonna be saving all the later character reveals, Milosh. That's the only thing. Like Derek, Force, Shio, and like all that. Like all those characters that get introduced towards the end, I feel like they're saving them, right? I'm sorry, who was the one from Psychology Alchemists? Daxter Guderian? Maybe we see Daxter Guderian and the other lunatic in the asylum? Maybe we see them? Or maybe we see fucking the swindler Lenevus. Force apparently like halfway through Volume 1. Oh, it was halfway. So I don't know what it could be. He's not important enough. I mean, we'll see what happens. Alright, I think this is what I'm gonna do. Just for timing, I think I'm gonna read. I think I'm gonna read one more chapter. I'm gonna end it for the. That way we end at 2 hours, and then I'll come back later. I'm gonna finish To Be Hero X, and then If there's a new trailer, bam, we watch that. And if not, we'll see. It's probably gonna be spectator. I mean, we'll see. I'm curious. Long story short, I'm excited for whatever it is, man. The more trailers, man. I'm fucking down for anything. I want more. Sign me up, brothers and sisters. Actually, a Sailor preview might be in it. Oh, you're right. We didn't get a Sailor preview. We got an Augur preview, but we didn't get a Sailor one. And you know, it'd be cool if they do a no. You see, this is why I don't want a spectator preview, because I'm like, oh, then we get to see Susie. But no. Then it like spoil that Susie becomes a spectator. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want people to know. I want it to be like a funny reveal and like, what the fuck, the dog can speak? Like, what the fuck, the dog just drank the potion? I think that'd be cool, you know? Like, I feel like they should, no pun intended, keep some mysteries. It's 14 days till the Donghua. Yeah, and it's like, we're so close to it. Are only the pathways left, Spectator, Sailor, and Mystery Party? Like, those are the only 3 left, right? But I feel like they should keep it mysterious, right? Like, we don't want to reveal all the mystery trump cards. I feel like we should save some, right? For like anime onlys. I feel like they should save some of that, like mystery. No pun intended. But let's read one more. Chapter 666, confidence might also be a weakness. Above the Great Fog in a palace that was held up by the stone columns, Derek quickly repeated his encounter to Mr. Fool. Dark Angel Seer, the name and titles of these kings of angels seem to have been washed away by the rivers of the history. Almost no one knows of them. If it weren't for Little Sun discovering them in a forsaken land of God, or me directly encountering the ancient evil spirit suspected to be Red Angel himself, I might not even know a single king of angels. At best, I would have heard of the Amon family and would have no way of delving deeper into the blasphemer. Where is the Dark Angel at present? Is he still alive? Is he still in the upper echelons of the Rose Redemption? Klein felt wistful, afraid that Little Sun would ask him related questions and he couldn't answer. Klein instantly stopped his contemplations and leisurely leaned back into the chair and said, "You have been freed from your predicament. Your complaints will soon find you." As he spoke, he didn't give Little Sun a chance to speak, but directly cutting off his connection. As for an explanation of the event, the Little Sun was discovered by the Admiral Klein disdained the thought of remained in him to fabricate an explanation. To mysterioususly disappear and then reappear again was a very normal that all sorts of strange scenarios accompanied it. At that moment, Derek was very grateful. Mr. Fool didn't ask him any further questions. This was because he was afraid that he would be exposed to the lethal darkness or hidden monsters once he escaped the alternative afternoon town. Therefore, he was eagerly hoping to regain control of his body as soon as possible, so as to prepare the necessary precautions. However, if Mr. Fool had really asked a question, he would still seriously and very patiently explain the corresponding situation. With his consciousness returning to his body, Derek rapidly recovered to his senses. When he opened his eyes, he saw a candle which was almost done burning. The wick flames was raving in the wind. Immediately after that, he discovered that Chief was standing to his side at some point in time. The tall Haim and red-gloved Joshua were rarely standing 2 steps behind him. How long have they been watching me like that? Although Derek had already thought of a reason above the Great Fog, he still felt guilty and nervous. Colin's wrinkled face was deadpan. He asked in a normal tone as he looked at Derek Burke, "What did you encounter?" Derek didn't immediately answer it. It would appear as though he had already fabricated an excuse. He used a trick taught by the hangman. He deliberately paused for a few seconds as he described while recalling the events in a rather staccato manner. "I saw the altar after entering the underground chamber. I suspected that it was an altar and tried to identify the remnant words and the symbols on it. I recognized 3 names. One of them was Angel of Fate Ouroboros. At this point, the light from the lantern extinguished. When I turned my head to look at Haim and Joshua, it had vanished. I created a light source and walked out of the underground chamber and discovered that the outside was still afternoon town. However, many of these buildings had candles lit inside them as though humans were living in them. I didn't dare to leave the building, and I returned to the underground chamber. I attempted to do what I did again. Chief, in the afternoon town, the words on the altar were very complete. There are a total of 3 languages. One was Jotun, the other Dragoness, and another I didn't recognize. However, the first 2 languages expressed the same words. They were the names and titles of the angels as well as Rose Redemption. Later, I found myself back there. What he said was true. It was very complete. All he did was hide the details of how he returned." Derek didn't have any hopes of successfully lying to the chief. He planned on being confused when he was pressed, pushing the reasons out of abnormality of his entire body that didn't understand. This would definitely make the chief suspicion, but Mr. Hangman and Miss Justice from the Spectator pathway all that said that he couldn't ask too many questions regarding such matters. By appearing abnormal, will he think more importantly of me? I will be viewed as a chess piece that can be counterbalanced. Elder Lovia. The outside world sure is complicated. If it was only recently that I fully understood their train of thought, Derek couldn't help but sigh inwardly. In a dire environment, the depletion of every ounce of strength would mean that more dangers from the city of Silver. It had very few instances in the past, and even if it happened, it was basically concentrated within the 6-member council. The first thing the other Beyonders learned in their patrols and advancing was cooperation. Colin nodded gently and walked to the altar and attempted what Derek described, but he didn't disappear as a result of this. He remained standing in his original spot. From the looks of it, the remnant powers had already completed their mission. The demon hunter muttered softly to himself, I didn't even need to fabricate an excuse, Derek thought, feeling somewhat embarrassed. Colin thought for a moment before turning his head to look at Derek. What are your corresponding titles of Medici and Susrier? Red Angel and Dark Angel. Derek was honest. Colin nodded gently, seemingly in thought. I know. I'm just locking in a little bit. Is it gonna be a You think it's gonna be a Zoman Great preview? No, I feel like they can't even show that. Like, you see him very briefly in the trailer. Like, there's like only one still of him eating with his family, right? Like at dinner time before he transmigrates. In a small number of books, there is a mention of Red Angel, but with no actual name associated with it. As for the Dark Angel Sasrir, he has completely been lost in history. Derek was just about to take the opportunity to ask about the other kings of angels when he suddenly noticed the candlelight in the underground chamber has dimmed. Ooh, lights are about to go off. As though a shadow was surging in from outside. Let's leave this place for now, Demon Hunter Colin said cautiously, having sensed the same thing. With the axe of Hurricane in hand, Derek immediately approached Haim and Joshua to form a battle formation with them. However, just as he took one step, he discovered that Haim had retreated 2 meters to his side. Joshua had raised his left red-gloved hand. Both of them didn't hide their wariness as their eyes keenly observed him. Derek knew that this was a very normal reaction for them. This was because lessons regarding explorations had been corresponding teachings. Be observant and make less contact with companions who had just escaped a strange situation, and I haven't clearly explained how I escaped the strange afternoon town. Derek opened his mouth in a bid to explain, but he closed his mouth in silence again. He felt ashamed and aggrieved as he pursed his lips. Holding Axe of Hurricane, he turned and followed the chief, taking one step at a time before leaving the underground chamber. The quartet soon arrived at the entrance and was prepared to leave. To their surprise, they realized that the afternoon town, with shadows and cloaking in its buildings, had appeared to have darkened a little. Oh, something's coming. Almost instantaneously, there was candlelight shining on from the different windows from different buildings. Dim yellowish light were either connected or disconnected. Silent and heavy, Klein didn't stay too long above the gray fog. He quickly returned to the bathroom and put away the corresponding items. Let's hope that there wouldn't be any more incidents on Little Sun's side. It wouldn't be too good for me to repeatedly enter the bathroom. People in the know will realize that I'm hiding a secret, but those not in the know would definitely think that German Sparrow has a bladder problem. It would be a tarnish on my persona. But he's good. He already digested Faceless, bro. It's okay about his persona. Although I've already digested the Faceless potion, Marionettist Rosago went from one sequence to the next. The Bionic characteristics he left behind obviously contains a set of the Faceless potion. Using this Bionic characteristic as a main ingredient is equivalent to me drinking an additional Faceless Magician Clown and Seer potion or even more. Sigh, I should still try my best to abide by the various principles I previously concluded so as to digest the excess portions. Oh, I did talk about the dangers, right, of excess. Okay, the excess portions. Klein made some clear water and washed his face before walking out of the bathroom. Just as he was wondering if it was almost time for dinner and was planning to take out the golden pocket watch. The golden pocket watch should take a look. The scenes before his eyes suddenly turned black. He could hardly see things. It's night again. The intervals don't follow a pattern. It's nighttime? If it were... Wait. No. Are we with Derek? If we encountered a monster and both sides are in intense battles, what happens when the sky suddenly turns black? Monsters are also creatures, so they need to sleep as well. Otherwise, there's a high chance that they will disappear in the night. Both parties in combat have to lie down and sleep, only to continue when they wake up. Is this really a story that can pass the sensors? Did you see the Transmigrator senior preview? Yeah, we've seen all of them so far. Klein, who had relaxed after successfully advancing, lampooned as he quickly walked to his side. And the plan is to rewatch all of them, like, I guess in a week, right? Like, the week leading up to the release. I do plan on rewatching all of them. Just as he got in bed, he suddenly thought of a problem. The night here is very dangerous. If living creatures do not sleep, they will vanish completely. The darkness and the forsaken lands of gods, including the city of silver, is similarly dangerous. If there's no light to disperse the darkness, humans would completely vanish and the darkness exceeds 5 seconds. It's really similar. Could there really be some connection here? Klein shook his head with cognition and entered a dream. Amidst the dream, he realized that he had switched locations. Once again, he became lucid. The last time he left the dream, he was on the boulder where Admiral Star's cat Leah was sitting as she hugged her knees. This time, he was facing a staircase. The light on the sunset shines through the colors glass panes high above, making the black spiraling staircase adorned with sculptures look exceedingly beautiful. Klein instinctively looked to the side and found Queen Mystic standing high up in the staircase. The long chestnut-haired lady was wearing her dress with open hems. Her top was a white shirt with ice and lace flowery bands, matched with a simple dark blue coat. Her lower half was still beige-colored trousers with black leather boots. However, Klein believed that Queen Mystic probably had an entire wardrobe or even a room full of trousers and leather boots of the same style. What's the matter? Klein took the initiative to ask. Queen Mystic caressed the handrail with her right hand as she slowly walked down. Confidence might be a weakness in time. You trust the copper whistle and paper crane of yours too much? How the f does she know all this? Perhaps one day it will be the source of danger. Klein felt a little uneasy at that, but he didn't show it. I don't understand what you mean. Confidence might be a weakness at times. Queen Mystic repeated again. Cattleya trusts the sealed artifact she gave Heath Doyle too much. If I hadn't boarded the ship, then Nina Franklin and her would have died, but you might survive. That sealed artifact isn't actually able to block the ravings that fill these waters. That's how Heath Doyle mutated. Klein acutely read in between the lines. Queen Mystic nodded. Under ordinary circumstances, it can, but do you know who the ravings that fill these... Wait. Who are they coming from? Okay, so if all the... Okay, wait, hold up. Before we get the reveal on who we're actually hearing. This was the battleground for... This was the battleground for the ancient gods, right? And we know of the battle between the ancient sun god and we know about the 8v1 battle, right? If this... I'm sorry, wait. The 8v1 battle happened in the Forsaken Lands, or do we know where the 8v1 battle happened, or no? Wait, I don't want to read yet. Should I? Okay, if the 8v1 battle happened here, then here. Okay, so the ravings we're hearing are probably from the ancient sun god, i.e., the omniscient, omnipotent creator, which his blasphemer people call him the true creator, even though, like, no, my bad, the original creator, even though he's not the original creator. That's what I'm thinking. But I assume it's the ancient sun god's ravings that we're hearing, right? He killed them, and then he went mad a little bit when he took on their authorities because they would have been corrupted by the abyss. And maybe that's why we're hearing his... Well, let's see. Well, let's finish. There's like 3 more lines, and then we can talk about it. I'm just speculating. Under ordinary circumstances, it can. But do you know who the ravings that fill these waters come from? Fuck you. Okay. Without waiting for Klein's reply, she gave the answer. That's the true creator ravings. Damn. Yo. That's pretty sick. That's the true creator? Damn. That's pretty sick, dude. Oh, wait. Here, before I read what all of you guys are saying, let me do a timestamp. We're going to do overall thoughts. Because I am going to end stream, but here, let's talk. Let's talk it through for a little bit. I see you guys chatting. Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you guys. One sec. Let me go back, because I know I've been missing quite a bit of messages. Let's go from here. Let me just update this so it's ready for when we come back. Let me see. Overall thoughts, 119. I think we're right here. Did you see that we saw that? It would be cool. Wait, easy. What if after finishing LOTM, you tried to create your own original pathway? That'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be fun. I don't know if we'd probably have to like rapid fire it, right? Did you see the exclusive 0.5 second scene from the Dorian's version of the Transmigrator senior preview? I did not see that. There's like a half a second, or there's like a new frame or new shot here. What exactly did Heath Doyle hear? What did he hear? Look it up. We're not saying it's here. What if after we finish your team you create your own? Oh, I missed that, right? Okay. What he? I actually don't know. The true bum. Instead of the true creator, the true bum brothers and sisters. I see what you did there. That was a pretty funny joke. Romero isn't here, so I can say whatever I want. Hey, dude, if Romero was here, he probably would have timed you out with that one to send. Romero probably would have timed out Cammy for calling him the true bum. I like it. I like what we're reading. I like that we finally hit Marionettist. I find it interesting. It's like now Klein is like starting to fill in all his missing gaps, right? Like we know he was able to go in his spirit body form, but he didn't have a lot of abilities that could enhance his spirit body form directly, right? Not necessarily directly. Or like with Creeping Hunger, he was able to strike someone's, what was it? He had like that piercing ability, right? And you can like strike their soul. But like he's never had any abilities where you can like affect somebody's soul now, but like now he can do that. And now he has like perfect like it's like he's starting to learn abilities to enhance his physical self, his agility, his speed, his evasiveness. And now he's starting to get abilities where you match your like where you can like spiritually attack and not necessarily rely on a sealed artifact. I find it cool. I pinged you on Discord 0.5 second scene. Oh, bet. There's like 3 seconds. Hold up. Before I end stream, I'll look at it right here. Okay, I don't think this is a spoiler, so let me read that first. But the true creator is homeless. Every other god has a church or location or something, but the true creator got evicted. He has nothing. He literally has nothing. Well, hey, hold up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with him. Let me look at this before we wrap it up. Is that the mermaid? Wait, I'm scared to show it on stream just because the... No, wait, I'm looking at it. I'm kind of worried to show the mermaids on stream. But this looks sick. Look. Yeah, okay, so I'm not going to show the mermaids. But if you guys want, join our Discord, right? And we can look at the mermaid fan art. But this is cool. And the first one, the first picture of the mermaid, you can see the spirit threads like forming around Klein as he's drinking the potion. That is so sick, dude. And the other one with Milosh, like Klein is holding the lantern. Oh. Look at that. Those are the mermaids? Damn. Oh, this is his Marionettist Arcana card? That's sick, dude. Okay, we can show that one. That is tight. Okay. I'm down for whatever new persona we get. It's like he's like a Marionettist now. And like he's actually walking around with his marionette now. That'd be pretty sick. Wow, the music is really loud. I apologize. Okay, this is some cool ass fan art. This is pretty cool. Damn, dude, that's sick. All right, hold up. I don't want to wait. I actually don't want to look at more fan art on him as a Marionettist because I don't know like what persona he's gonna take on now. So I don't want to know too much on it. So I don't know if like he goes back to being Klein the detective, but he takes on a new role, or he takes on a complete new persona. So I'm gonna hold off a little bit on looking more fan art on him as a Marionettist. But I do like the 2 pictures we saw, and then I liked his outfit. It was pretty cool. It was pretty sick. All right, guys, I had a lot of fun. I know it wasn't like a 4 to 6 hour stream, but we should hopefully be back later today. And if not, we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, those were fine. Yeah, but I don't think I want to look at any more. Just yet. I want to hold off a little bit more. You know, we got to keep it. We got to keep it vague enough, at least for now, until we see more. But I'm gonna keep it there. We're gonna keep it there. I'm gonna end it there. If you like what you see and you want me, we're not gonna redo our outros. Bro didn't even show it. No, I'm a little worried to show the Marionettist one, just because. Wait, hold up. I'm a little worried to show the Marionettist because when I clicked on it, you can still see like the mermaids in the background, like the silhouette. Yeah, my bad. No, it's right. We are gonna go through all of this again though. I feel like at the end, or probably in a little bit. Probably not on this stream, but when we come back, we can look at more. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing, you want to see more, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are excited for the Dunqua and the Dunqua reacts, you know where to come through. There's an arrest warrant for Sherlock. So he's probably gonna have to take on a new identity now. Yeah, he probably can't even go back to being Sherlock. But we'll see what happens with that. So have a beautiful day. Mwah. I'll see you guys all very soon. If there is a new Pathway trailer, you know where to come. You know where to watch it, and we'll be here. Hopefully, if there's a trailer. All right, guys. Have a beautiful day. All right, later, guys. I positioned my camera a little bit lower, so now I'm not like this when I'm reading. Now, like, you can kind of see me a little bit better. All right, later, guys.